Whoa! Taze's thing freaked out for
Well,
a second
before
there.
you do that, you might want to screen share.
Oh,
Yeah, we can't
yeah.
really see anything.
1 second. 1 second. 1 second.
Did you forget to turn on the... There you go.
Yeah. Uh, um, technical issues aside, I am doing fine, Dragon Cat. Okay, when last we left off, we saw the second to last ending, and now we are going to see the final ending.
We're already in the cat. I'm guessing you did the captain's room stuff beforehand?
Um, Captain's room stuff. No. I think that's after this room. Let's see.
So I'm guessing you did stuff off screen.
Just a little bit. Right. I should probably mention what I did off screen. So, I basically just went down the white route real quick. And there are a few locks that have to be uncovered along this route.
Mm-hmm.
So, which is why we are back here again. Let's see.
I know you have to examine the other steering wheel. Oh, wait.
Yeah, I remember I took the handle off of one of them, but I'm...
Let's see.
I was expecting to
Go
speed
back.
through this a lot quicker.
Let's go see Clover real quick and see if there's anything we can take.
I mean, Hannah, you should know that he was doing this stuff. You were still in the voice call when he was doing it.
Yeah, but that was a week ago.
You know,
Pick up
Hold
the
up, there's
box
still
watch.
something in this one. Hold up, there's something in this one. Hold up, there's something in this one.
I just thought I...
Yeah, they're in. You checked on us. Now get out of here. We split this stuff up for a reason, all right?
Well, I was just mashing.
That's a lie. We didn't have to split up the work.
Let's see. How do I check my log?
And also, you're on the adventure screen.
That's
Yeah.
true. You definitely want to get off that.
I just want to talk to Clover alone. That's why I sent Ace to the wheelhouse. There's something I want to ask her. And I don't want anyone to overhear us. I'm pretty sure Clover won't talk if there's anyone else around. That's why when Ace showed up
Ironically,
again, I
you
got a
by
little
mashing,
desperate. I had to
you
make him
helped
leave.
unlock get the lock for this door.
Yeah. Ace opened his mouth, then took another look at Junpei and shut it again. A small smirk appeared on his face.
Oh, I see. Of course.
He looked Junpei over, then glanced over at Clover.
I apologize for the intrusion. Well, best of luck.
Ace, we know that you're a fucking murderer. Shut the fuck
I
up.
remember him doing that last time.
Yeah,
So-
he did. He's
Okay.
he's a dick.
Well, right, but I'm saying I feel like we might have gone through some of that. Some of that might have been the same last time, so I might not have skipped anything important. Junpei let out a sigh and brushed a few drops of sweat from his forehead. He turned and found himself looking straight into Clover's eyes. She'd heard what Ace had said. She regarded Junpei with caution.
What was that about?
She was clearly suspicious, and with good reason.
Why are you looking at me like that?
Junpei's eyes widened, and he held up his hands in a gesture of innocence.
Oh, no, it's not like that.
What's it like then?
I just wanted to hear the rest of that story. I didn't get a chance to ask you about it until now.
What story?
About the experiment, remember? The one you started to tell me in the operating room? You said something about an experiment that happened here 9 years ago.
Clover bit her lip. She stared down at the floor for several long moments, and when she spoke, it was barely audible.
I'm sorry, but I don't want to talk about that right now.
Taze, your chair is
Ooh.
coming through.
God damn it.
It's extremely squeaky. The chair wants to join into the conversation, clearly.
Ugh.
No, it's
I'm
just
the
me
resident
squeaking.
squeaky thing here.
I
Wow.
squeak too.
That's true.
I'm just not in the mood, okay?
Uh,
You understand,
God.
right?
Hmm.
I keep thinking about my brother.
He's not
I
dead.
can't stop. I mean, who would do something like that to my brother?
I don't know. Who would do something like that, Ace?
I can't forgive them.
Looks
I'm not gonna
suspiciously.
let them get away with it. They're gonna pay for it. I promise. So,
Her shoulders were shaking. Drops of blood had sprung up on her lips where she was biting them. She wiped it off and looked up at Junpei, her eyes fierce and angry.
Junpei, who do you think did it?
Her voice was cold and scarcely above a whisper. Junpei gulped.
well, if what Seven said was right, then there would have to be at least 2 of them. You need at least 3 people to open the numbered doors, and if you subtract Snake, that means there were at least 2 other people.
You're right. So, what does that mean?
Well, if we just look at the bracelet numbers, we should be able to figure it out. Who could have opened door 3 with Snake? Well, really, who and who, or who and who?
You mean it could have been 4 people?
Well, technically it's possible.
I don't know. That doesn't seem very likely.
Why?
I'll tell you later. Why don't we just assume it was only 2 other people for now?
Okay, got it. Let's do that then.
Then who do you think it could be?
Junpei crossed his arms and thought. Snake's bracelet number was 2. Which 2 bracelet numbers added to 2 would give a digital root of 3? Well, I mean, any 2 that add up to 10, really.
Do you remember?
Yes, so the only one listed of here would be Santa and Seven.
Yeah.
Would it be Santa and Seven? The digital root for Snake, Santa, and Seven is...
Well, yeah, but not, 9 is not an option in there because in this timeline,
We
Junpei
didn't check.
yeah, Junpei doesn't have a reason to believe that the 9 bracelet would be involved.
3! Wait, hold on.
Yeah,
Are
unfortunately.
Santa and Seven the killers?
What's wrong?
Can't do our man Seven dirty like that.
Absolutely not. Clover looked at Junpei, and he looked back at her. There was no point in hiding it.
Well, I thought about it, and...
He told her his conclusions.
That's what I thought.
She looked less surprised than he'd expected.
Santa and Seven. If it was 2 people, then that's the only combination that works.
Hey, wait a minute there. Don't you think it's a little too early to be jumping to conclusions? Well, all I said is that those 2 would have been able to open door 3 with your brother. There might be other possibilities.
Well, what other possibilities?
He didn't have an answer. He was ready to admit defeat when Clover spoke.
Are you saying you think that it was 3 or 4 people? I really don't think that's likely.
Why not?
Can I borrow your pen and paper?
Clover put her hand out expectantly.
Yeah, here.
Junpei pulled out his pen and pad of paper and handed them to her. She opened the notebook and wrote down several simple addition problems. Eventually, she had 8, which proved a digital root of 3. 1, 3, and 6. 1, 4, and 5. 4, 7, and 8. 5, 6, and 8. 1, 3, 7, and 8. 1, 4, 6, and 8. 1, 5, 6, and 7. 3, 4, 5, and 7.
What's this?
These are the combinations for 3 or 4 people. These 8 combinations are the only possible ones.
Oh, I see.
Junpei,
Yeah?
I can trust you, right?
Of course. Why would you need to ask that?
Really?
Yeah,
So then I should get rid of B, D, G, and H, right?
of course. Just cross them out. And you should take off yours too. The ones with 4.
So, what does that leave?
A and E.
1, 3, and 6, and 1,
Bless you.
3, 7, and 8.
Wait, it can't be A.
Why?
Because June's in that one. There's no way in hell she'd do something like that.
Are you sure?
I bet my life on it.
Okay then. I can cross off A too, right?
Yeah,
Well, what have we got left?
E.
Do you know what this means?
Everyone besides me, you, and June would be working together.
Do you think that's likely? If there were 4 people working together, they wouldn't be very cautious. I don't think they'd try that hard to hide what they were doing if they outnumbered us, right?
Well,
She does
you do
have
have
a
a
point.
point.
And besides, if Ace and Seven are working together, they could have easily gotten rid of me when I went to the shower room with them. But they didn't. They didn't even try anything. If they were killers, why wouldn't they?
Her voice was calm, but Junpei had only to look in her eye to know it was a
Can
forced
I-
calm.
Can we just talk about for a moment that the implications of how fast she has calculated all this means that she was not only able to do all these calculations in a matter of minutes, but also came to this conclusion well before Junpei did.
Yeah.
And how old is she again?
She's 18. Clover is a really smart 18-year-old.
Yeah?
Yeah.
There were tears forming at the corners of her eyes, and she was blinking furiously to keep them back. Perhaps by attempting an objective analysis of who might have killed her brother, she had been able to distance herself from the harsh reality of his death. The more she struggled to act unconcerned, the more Junpei felt his heart tighten.
Oh, I see. Anyway, I understand now. It seems pretty unlikely that it was as many as 3 or 4 people.
Yeah,
And that means there's a good chance it was Santa and Seven.
that's how it looks.
But why would they do it?
There was a moment of silence.
Their motive.
He laid his hand gently on her shoulder. He was close, so close to the answer. When Ace chose the worst possible moment to return. He raised a knowing eyebrow and then spoke.
Have I interrupted something?
What is it?
There was something I wanted to speak with you about, Junpei. Could you come with me for a moment?
He turned on his heel and walked back toward the wheelhouse.
Go ahead.
Okay.
Junpei looked over at Clover. He gave her a short nod, hoped that she would be willing to talk to him again later, and followed Ace.
God damn it, Ace.
What did you want to talk
God damn
about?
it, Ace.
Yo, Captain Cockblock, get the fuck out of here!
We're trying to seduce Clover.
Yeah.
No, but we're trying to get information.
That's true. Information cockblock.
Ace looked at Junpei and smiled, perhaps more of a smirk than a smile.
There was something I wanted to check.
Yeah? What's that?
If you'll excuse me.
With no warning, Ace slipped his hand into the pocket of Junpei's vest.
Hey, what the hell are you doing?
I'm just checking.
This is when he's checked.
No, stop!
Yeah, I think... Oh. He reached for Ace's arm. But it was already too late. In the older man's hand were the pieces of paper Junpei had balled up and hidden in his pocket.
Just as I thought. What exactly are these pieces of paper hiding in your pocket? You switched them, didn't you, when we voted? Well, I can't say that I care. I managed to get through the numbered door I wanted, despite your mischief.
Then, why did you...
Oh, simple curiosity. I hope you won't think ill of me for it.
He was asserting dominance just now.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
He just wants us to know that he knows. Ace
What
smiled,
a dick.
gave Junpei a friendly pat on the shoulder, and then turned on his heel and left. It was a small defeat, but it was a defeat. Junpei had lost the upper hand, and he knew it. He could feel his stomach begin to tense.
Damn.
Can you please check your flowchart for me? Okay, just making sure.
Yeah, next stuff will be in the next escape room.
We can't use the parking lot yet.
Let's see, I'm trying to remember how to solve that puzzle.
That's the display. I think it probably has something to do in the captain's the quarters. I don't think we have all our information yet. Check the left drawer.
Did Ace take the pocket watch and do the thing already?
No.
Oh, right, the map.
Yep. We need a stack of. There's a stack of maps that we need to grab. Can you check in the bag? Oh no, wait, that's a lamp. Why did I think it was a bag on the wall? Ah, here we go.
Here it is.
That's what we need. Now I think we have to use that on the wall. Yeah.
Alright. I'm mashing too much.
Now we can spin. No, wait.
Oh, wait. I think I had to...
Yeah, we gotta do this thing.
Oh, boy.
If someone could relook up the answer, I would appreciate it.
I think you have. I think now you
honestly,
can examine
you can-
the old steering wheel again. No, wait.
Honestly, I think you guys can just move to the next room. I don't think you have to finish this room now. I think you just need to get the scene.
If the lock in this room is open, then I do believe you can move to the next room.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, okay, let's do that then.
Yep, it's open. Just move to the
Yeah,
next
you have
Captain's
two
quarters,
locks
we
in this
go.
next room.
Seek a way out.
Okay, just to double check.
For some reason,
Yeah, everything's
for
fine.
some reason, that slogan makes me think of Ogre Battle. Fight it out.
Liberation.
Yay!
I wonder what we have
So
to
now that
examine.
we've gotten the safe ending, can I just talk about how fucking hilarious it was that y'all had been saying that to me, hilarious to me and Leo, that y'all had been saying Ace is considering Ace being such a, you know, well put together adult, the only sane man in the group.
Don't remind us.
Meanwhile, he
Okay.
solves this puzzle, runs into this room, kills the shit out of this dude, and runs back.
I think you have to go back where Ace is. Oh, yep.
Gigantic any kill percent speedrun.
Nope, can't go
Oh,
over
I
there
guess
yet.
we have to keep looking. I think you gotta slap the console. Now you gotta look at the look at the.
Okay, it's the door.
Huh.
Okay, so we this one is still the same as it was.
Well, even if he wasn't one of us, there's
Until
no
now.
way that man could be Zero.
Huh?
Don't you get it? The letters that spell Zero on the TV screen, the captain's clothes he's got on, and of course, the bracelet with a zero on it. It's too obvious. Look, this is Zero right here. This dead body is Zero. Isn't that kind of fishy?
You're right. Only an idiot wouldn't see through something like that.
No, that's not the point. So I'm not trying to make fun of them for thinking a trick like this would work. I'm sure they didn't think it would work. Which makes me wonder. I think this is a challenge. A challenge from the person who's really behind all of this. He's making fun of us. Don't you get it? If whoever killed this guy really wanted us to think this corpse was Zero, they'd never have put a bracelet on him. Walking around with a Zero bracelet would be like hanging a sign around your neck that said, "I did it!" Anyone with a brain would be able to see that this guy is supposed to look like everything Zero is supposed to be. Just like we did. The killer must have known we wouldn't think he was Zero and put the bracelet on him anyway. Do you know why?
Why?
Like I said, he's mocking us. Too bad, suckers, this isn't Zero. Where's the real me then? See if you can catch me. It's the same bad joke a lot of criminals like to play. They'll just sit back and watch people run in circles.
That's really twisted. But it almost seems kind of childish.
Yeah, you're right. It's really childish. It's like it's just a game to whoever this person is. That's what seems funny to me.
Junpei bent down next to the corpse.
Alright, let's get back to the point. Who killed this man?
I don't know.
And what's this guy's deal? Who is he?
How would I know that? If I knew anything, I would have told you.
You have no idea who he is.
Why would I?
Junpei sat back on his haunches and thought.
We should check and see if he's got anything on him that might tell us who he is. Give me a hand here, Clover.
Huh?
We gotta flip him over. How else are we gonna search his pockets?
I don't think we did this
that's-
last time.
That's gonna be unpleasant.
Okay, fine. Guess I'll do it.
Junpei had no choice but to move the body on his own.
Here we go.
He grabbed hold of an area not completely covered in blood and shoved. It took a moment, but eventually Junpei felt the man's bulk begin to shift. But just as it did,
Huh?
something fell from the man's left wrist.
Hey, it's the...
The bracelet was Zero on the face.
Lastly, let us discuss how to remove the bracelets. There are only two ways to do so. One,
Technically
escape
four.
from this ship. Two, for Hartley, which is Zero. In other words, once the bracelet is taken outside the confines of the ship, or the backside of the mirror's heartbeat has fallen to zero, it will shut
Oh wait,
down
actually
the
no, there's
memory.
5 ways that you could remove the bracelet and still be alive.
Well, yeah, I mean, I know a fair few ways. I mean, I've played Slay the Princess.
Oh, God.
Junpei stared at the bracelet.
This man... He's dead, isn't he?
No shit!
I was about to say no fucking shit.
You
No,
don't
it's just-
say.
I guess I didn't really think about it until right now. If his
You
bracelet's
didn't
off,
see that the
means
man
he's
was
dead.
lying in blood.
Just see a man with like a hole in his chest covered in blood and be like, dude, you alright?
Well, it's pretty obvious that he's dead. You don't really need to look at his bracelet to figure out that he's dead.
Yeah. I guess you're right. It is pretty obvious. Well, he looks a lot better than the other bodies we've seen, though. You know?
Junpei, what the fuck?
That's not good tact, my guy.
I mean, if there wasn't all this blood, he'd almost look like he was still alive.
You might as well have gone, man, he looks a lot better than your brother.
Jesus, Hal.
I mean, I know it's kind of a messed up thing to say, but he kinda has it better, you know?
Oh, Jesus Christ, Junpei.
No!
Junpei!
He doesn't!
Shut
the people
the
who
fuck
exploded died immediately. They didn't feel anything.
Well, also, like, again, like, with what Clover's been going through this whole time, anytime he's saying that this person has it better, there's the implied better than your brother had it. So, Junpei,
Yeah?
shut up.
Dying from a bomb going off inside of you? I mean, that's just... Some of Snake's bones went right through his skin.
Junpei!
Oh my God!
I think the explosion must have thrown him against a wall or something.
Junpei!
There was a broken bone just sticking out of his left arm.
Hold up, let him cook.
Suddenly, Junpei realized what he was saying. Okay, glad you brought it back around. How could he have been so cruel? I know, right? He clapped his hands over his mouth, but it was already too late. He turned to look at Clover. She was glaring at him furiously.
What did you just say?
Her words sounded cold. He knew an apology could hardly atone for what he'd done, but he tried anyway.
Oh man, I am so sorry. I shouldn't have said that. I really don't know what I was thinking. I mean...
No, that's not what I'm talking about. What did you say about his arm?
Arm?
Yes, his left arm. You said it, didn't you?
Well, yeah, I did, but I mean, didn't you see it too?
Of course not. I could barely look at him. There's no way I was gonna see the details.
Clover took a quick, deep breath.
Are you sure it was his left arm?
Junpei thought back.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was.
And he had a broken bone, right?
What the hell are you getting at here?
Just shut up and answer me!
She shoved her face closer to his. He could see the fire in her eyes. Junpei winced and swallowed.
Yeah, he did. It was pretty bad, too. The bone was sticking out of the arm.
No sooner were the words out of his mouth than Clover's expression changed.
Clover? What's wrong? Look, I'm sorry if I said anything.
Suddenly, she was crying. Junpei wasn't sure what to do.
Thank you.
It was close to the last thing he had expected to hear.
Huh? What are you...
Junpei had no idea what had just happened. He didn't think he'd done anything worthy of thanks, and he couldn't understand why she would have chosen that moment to begin crying. So he simply stood there, confused.
Thank you so much, Junpei.
She thanked him again, and then something even stranger happened.
Ladies and gentlemen, one of the sweetest scenes in this game.
Clover threw herself into Junpei's surprised arms.
Hey, what's going on with you?
I'm sorry, it's just... I'm so happy!
Why?
The body in the shower room, it isn't his! It isn't my brother!
Huh?
It's not Snake!
Why on earth would you think that?
Because his left arm is...
She stopped herself.
I'm sorry. I really shouldn't be talking about this.
Junpei decided it would be prudent not to press her for any more information. If she did not wish to tell him, he certainly had a reason for doing so. Perhaps more importantly, however, Clover was so certain, then she was likely right. That meant that the body in the shower room wasn't Snake. It wasn't much, but that knowledge lifted some of the weight from Junpei's heart.
But he's still alive. I'm so happy.
Tears shone in her eyes. Those tears melted Junpei's heart. As she cried, she had pushed herself up against his chest like a child. Junpei put his arms around her and held her tight.
I'm so glad!
Huh?
Junpei, you were right!
Huh?
No matter what happens, you can never lose hope. You have to remember what's most important, and that's to have faith and to have love. If you can remember all of those, that'll bring you good luck.
Clover reached into her pocket and pulled something out.
That's...
It was a laminated bookmark with a 4-leaf clover.
I only made it here because you gave me this. I was suspicious of everybody, and I was angry and miserable. But because I had this 4-leaf clover, because of what you said to me,
Yeah.
Aww. Junpei hadn't thought his words would have such an effect on her. Her words were making him feel a little awkward.
Thank you so much, Junpei.
She looked up at him. He scratched his nose and pretended to notice something interesting somewhere else in the room.
Oh, if you really want to thank somebody, you should be thanking Santa.
Santa? Why?
Well, he was the one who gave me that thing. And the words for each leaf, I got that from him too.
Oh.
Awkward.
And suddenly, Clover broke away from Junpei.
Huh?
He looked confused. He hadn't thought she'd react that poorly. Clover began to pace across the room. Six steps to the left, 6 steps to the right, another 6 to the left, and then she stopped.
Did Santa really tell you those things?
Her eyes were serious, but not angry.
Yeah, he did. Did I say something wrong?
Oh no, not at all. In fact, this could be really good news, I think.
You think?
Santa knew about the words and the clover. The only people who should know about that are the other subjects.
Subjects?
Huh.
The other people who were in the experiment 9 years ago, with my brother and me.
Oh,
But
right.
he's blind, and I was part of the Nevada test group. So neither of us would be able to recognize the faces of the people who were on this boat.
Whoa. Okay, time out.
Junpei held up his hands. He took a deep breath and let it out.
Let's just calm down for a second, okay? Start from the top. Don't start with the end and then jump to the middle. You gotta start with 1 and then move to 2 and 3 and 4 and so on.
If I remember correctly, she
in the
mentioned...
right order, I'm never gonna be able to figure it out.
If I remember correctly, in the lab, she mentioned something about this, because that's when we gave her the 4-leaf clover bookmark, right?
Right, yeah, she was surprised that we knew about those words.
Yeah, and she's like, I should tell you about this, and then now since we've gotten all the information, and she realizes, oh wait, my brother isn't dead. And then hearing that Junpei said Santa's word, she's like, wait a minute, how did he know this? So that's why she's
Right.
getting to that. Anyway, let's continue.
Anyway, Clover nodded.
All right, let's start with this experiment. What happened on this boat 9 years ago?
Do you know about morphogenetic fields?
Morphogenetic
Oh, here we go
fields.
again.
Oh boy.
He did, and the realization sent chills down Junpei's spine.
All right, how about this? Theory of the telepathic mechanism.
I think Lotus mentioned something like that.
Junpei recounted what Lotus had told him earlier. Clover nodded.
Telepathy, huh? Well, that's not really it, but I suppose it's similar.
So they were testing telepathy on this ship?
Yeah, I guess so.
So, what exactly did they have you guys do?
The same thing that we're doing now. Exactly the same thing.
What?
The nonary game. 9 people were put on this boat, and 9 others were put in the building in Nevada, and the game started.
You know, it's a good thing that the nonary game isn't real, because it'd be very fucked up because I'm actually a twin, right? Imagine that happening to me and my brother. Oh god, that's
Yeah.
scary.
I'm a twin too.
Oh yeah, I keep forgetting that information.
Yeah. I mean, I could certainly see that happening.
Yeah, that's scary.
Junpei grabbed the sides of his head.
Look, I'm sorry, but I don't get it. What do the nonary game and some telepathy experiment have to do with each other? Am I missing something here?
Clover bit her lip. She blinked back sudden tears. What had happened to her in Nevada?
The ability to access a morphogenetic field is affected by a couple of things. The first is epiphany, and the other is danger. You know how sometimes when you're up against a really tough problem, and then the answer just kind of pops in your head? That's an epiphany. And what you learn from the epiphany can be transmitted with telepathy. When you add danger to that equation, then it gets easier to transmit that information over telepathy.
So you're saying the nonary game was supposed to introduce that element of danger?
Yeah, but it couldn't be just any old danger. It had to be life and death. And someone did actually die. A girl.
Huh.
Junpei felt the sudden grip of despair on his heart. Something deep and distant and powerful squeezed, and for a moment he felt very, very empty and alone.
She was on the boat with my brother. I was in Nevada. I never met her, but I did hear her name. Her name was...
The sound of the door
God
opening was
damn
like
it,
a
Ace!
gunshot. Junpei spun around.
Oh, my
God!
apologies. I seem to have disturbed you.
Ace.
He's totally
Captain
listening.
Cockblock
Strong
at it
stomachs.
again!
I can't imagine
He's
how you
totally
could stay in this room
listening.
for so long.
Ace glanced down at the floor. At the corpse covered in blood.
At any rate, Junpei, would you be so kind as to come and help me with something? I'm having a little trouble, and I could really use your assistance.
He is totally listening in on us through the door and
Come on,
interrupting
it'll only
us
take a moment.
so we don't learn too much. I'm calling that right now.
With that,
calling
he
that
turned
too.
and walked back toward the communications office. Clover waited until he was out of sight, then spoke in a small, quiet voice.
I don't want Ace to hear us. We can talk about this later.
Huh? Hey, wait.
Clover ignored him. From outside, Junpei could hear Ace calling.
Junpei? What are you doing in there? Hurry up!
Grumbling to himself, Junpei stomped off toward the communications office.
Also, unlike the last room, you do have to complete this one, I believe, because there's 2 locks.
Yeah.
We have to find a bottle of ink, and we have to find a screwdriver to take apart the music box.
Let's see. I remember. Let's see. That piece of paper.
That's the piece of paper we write on.
Okay. I need stuff.
We can't open that thing because we don't have a thing. We gotta take the screwdrivers. You gotta take the ink. Now you gotta combine the screwdrivers and the metal box.
Nope, that's
Earth, did you hear what I said?
What metal box?
The music box, I meant.
Oh.
Yep. Combine that. Then you use the cylinder with the ink.
Yeah, I remember. I remember that.
Yep. Two, three, four, 5 dash dot 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 dash
You're
dash.
making it harder for me.
What? Sorry.
I wonder if there's different dialogue you get for not having the paper when you do it.
You know, that's a thought. I think it won't let me try, actually.
Because I know in the sequel game there is unique dialogue for solving a puzzle without all the answers.
All
I
ice.
guess there. Hello, this is different.
Does this mean?
Junpei couldn't hold back. He had to know what was in that file. Each page was covered with strange characters. They looked like tiny drawings of birds, snakes, insects, horned animals, wings, and even kneeling humans. There were many pages in the file, and each was full of these strange symbols.
What the hell is this?
He didn't realize he'd spoken out loud until Ace looked over at him.
They are hieroglyphs, a form of
Wow.
writing used in ancient Egypt.
Ancient Egypt?
That's right.
Someone never went through an Egyptology phase in elementary school.
Yeah.
Someone never played a children. No, someone clearly didn't play Yu-Gi-Oh.
I mean, I
with
think
how many times, like, ancient Egypt gets brought up in, like, history classes that I had back in elementary school and such, I would be shocked that there is any kid, at least in America, that couldn't recognize hieroglyphs.
In America.
Can you read them?
Of course. I can't. What would make you think I could?
What the hell?
Junpei flipped through a few more pages. It wasn't just 1 or 2 pages that were covered in the strange symbols. Every single page was covered in them.
Whoa, the whole thing's like that.
Trying to read them was pointless. Junpei wasn't going to waste any more time with them. He made to close the file, and something fell out.
Huh? What's this?
He bent down and picked it up.
Oh, a key card.
There was a symbol on it that reminded Junpei of the symbol for symbols for the Saturn and Mercury cards. It's the Mars card?
No, it's not Mars. I think it's I think it's not. I think it might be the Earth symbol.
No, Earth.
It's Uranus.
Yeah. Earth is
Oh,
just
okay.
Earth is just a circle with a dot in the middle.
Taze, he pronounced it correctly. Shush.
No, he has a point, because again, when we went over this last time, regardless of how you pronounce it, you're still saying it awkward. Because it's either urine or anus.
Uranus.
About
That's the Uranus
urine
symbol.
anus.
I think that's you trying to make it as awkward as possible.
Yes. Yes, it is.
Say, there were 3 words engraved on the card as well.
Something's written on the bottom. Bottom deck library. This must be the key to the library, then.
So it would seem.
Bottom deck library.
We never used this card when we got it last time, did we?
That is
No.
correct.
We
Junpei
haven't.
remembered something he'd heard from Seven when they'd been in the chemical closet.
Seven said something like,
Alice sleeps in a small chamber past the Forest of Knowledge beneath the navel of the Gigantic.
Could beneath the navel mean the bottom deck? And the Forest of Knowledge is the library? Then could Alice be in a room somewhere beyond the library?
What's wrong? Something on your mind?
Junpei blinked. Only then did he notice Ace looking at him. Curiosity and concern written across his face in equal parts.
Yeah. I just remembered something.
Is that so? What about?
Well, don't laugh, okay?
There was no reason for Junpei to hide his thoughts. He began to explain his theory to Ace. Then he stopped. It wouldn't make any sense if Ace didn't know who Alice was supposed to be. So he told Ace everything June had told him.
The Egyptian priestess and Ice 9. Interesting.
So first we have to discuss glycerin.
Oh boy.
And
Ice 9,
the woman who
aka
wouldn't
the
melt,
spell that
who was
will
recovered
freeze
from the
the entire
Titanic disaster. They called her All Ice, which eventually turned into Alice. And she was purchased by an English millionaire who called himself Lord Gordain. According to Seven, this ship is where he hid Alice.
And you think that he hid her in a small room, beyond the library on the bottom deck?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it is just a theory.
A game theory.
No, you can't do that anymore.
No.
He's retired.
Yeah, do not bring it up. He is retired. He is dead.
I mean, he's retired, and that means it's there for all of us to use.
Oh.
Damn it, he has a point. Fair use.
Yeah. Well, okay. I tell a lie. I have to wait 75 years.
Well,
Ace-
see y'all in
Mickey
75
Mouse,
years.
motherfucker.
Let's say I'll only be like 120. Ace stared off into the distance, his hand slowly and absent-mindedly stroking his beard. After a few moments, his hand stopped. He turned slowly to look at Junpei, and his brows drew together.
Junpei, have you ever heard of the term CAS?
Kaz.
It stands for Cells Alive System. It is an advanced technology for freezing and preserving organic matter. Put simply, it is a technique that allows one to freeze things without the formation of ice crystals. Normally,
Thank
if you freeze
God.
something fresh, water within its cells expands as it crystallizes, damaging the cell membrane.
Like, the only three-letter analogy for CAS that I'm aware of is the Confederacy, so I thought that Ace was about to start talking about states' rights for a little bit.
Alright. Is it alright if I just... Sorry. Is it alright if I just take a moment to make me think... That what he was talking about made me think of this one part in Food Wars where they're trying to base it at, like, the main character and his friends are trying to pass basically a rigged food competition. And they had to get some salmon.
Oh yeah, I know
But-
what you're talking about.
Yeah. And they found an immature salmon that hadn't bred yet, but it was still full of like nutrients and shit. And the examiner's like, "Where the fuck did you get this? It's supposed to be super rare." And like the girl who's really good with like chemicals, "Oh, this was frozen with like the Cells Alive system, so it doesn't damage the membranes." I know Sook's the only one who knows exactly what I'm talking about.
I was expecting that to be a thing that was, like, I expected that to be bullshit made just for this game. Like,
No,
No.
it's equal parts science, actual science, and pseudoscience, and it's woven in a way where it makes you question which is which.
yeah, because I'm fairly
You
certain that All Ice and Ice 9 aren't real.
Yeah, that doesn't exist, but the process of freezing something without having water expand is a thing.
Yeah.
Here's a fun fact. They do it they do it both ways in the same conversation. The whole thing about that gigantic, that's real. Lord Gordain is bullshit.
Anyway,
Cass, however, works differently. The object to be frozen is super-cooled using magnetic fields, and then frozen
Holy shit,
instantly
it is
and
actually
uniformly,
real. Like, there
giving
is
ice crystals no time to form.
Like, Cass is a line of commercial freezers made by a company in Japan.
Sweet.
It was originally developed for
We
the
learn something new
preservation
every
of
day.
food as an alternative to the normal freezing process.
See?
Now, however,
I was cooking.
there are rumors that it can be used for other things.
What do you mean, other things?
That's how they kept
Well, there are obvious medical uses, but perhaps also space travel.
I was gonna make a Walt Disney, like, his frozen head joke, but that time for that is past.
yeah.
Just a little.
I have heard that those technologies have not worked out.
Space travel? Are you serious?
Surely you've heard of suspended animation. Cryogenic freezing? It's a fairly common idea in science fiction books and films. People are sometimes frozen for especially lengthy journeys through space.
That was when Junpei understood what Ace was suggesting.
Whoa, wait a minute there.
Ace looked at him and raised an eyebrow.
Are you saying that Alice was frozen using that Cass thing?
Well, I'm sure the possibility is quite low, but it is a possibility. If this special ice you call Ice 9 does indeed exist, and Cass were used to freeze her into that sort of ice instantaneously.
You think she could be alive?
Well, I can't say for sure, of course. I'm only talking about possibilities. The melting point for Ice 9 is 96 degrees, right? If she were put somewhere where she could reach that temperature...
That's nuts. Are you really saying she could have defrosted and started walking about?
You're quite right. It does sound unbelievable. But if she had, then we would have an explanation for the man we found dead on the floor.
You mean the guy dressed like a captain?
Yes. He was dead when we found him. Clearly, he was murdered. But if he was murdered, then by whom? It couldn't have been one of us. That would be impossible. In order to enter the captain's quarters,
Liar.
one must first open door 1. That door that requires the Earth key prevented us from accessing door 1. Who was it that opened that door?
Santa and Lotus.
Right. Clearly, the two of them could not have opened door 1, or any other door for that matter. Who else then could have done so?
Junpei thought for a second.
Nobody.
After Santa and Lotus used the Earth Key, they turned back and met up with me and June. Then we returned to the large hospital room and found Ace, Seven, and Clover. While we'd gone into the shower room, Ace, Seven, and Clover had stayed behind. But it's impossible for those three to open door 1. But what about when June and I took the elevator to door 2? No, still won't work. We were only gone 5 minutes. No human being could have run to the captain's quarters, killed that guy in there, and run back that fast.
It would be impossible for any of us to be the murderer. That being the case, who could have killed him? Wouldn't it make sense if his killer was someone who had been in the ship for some time? A person like that would know the ship well.
You know, now I'm curious. Like, for the most of the game, we were acting under the assumption that us 9 people plus 0 were the only people on the ship. However, we have Guy X from the safe that we learned about in the safe ending, and we have the person who's dressed like a captain, who apparently was killed only fairly recently.
Yeah.
So that's 2 people, at least, that were on this ship. There's just like a whole host of people on this ship, fully occupied, just always constantly with, outside of sight of us.
Well, someone had to, someone had to, get you guys on the ship to begin with. I doubt it was just one person, so...
It's secretly busy as... Well, I was about to say busy as a mall, but I suppose that doesn't apply anymore.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean.
Let's continue the
conversation. A bustling crowd. Just... We think we're
Like
alone.
fucking...
Because
like
they're always
fucking,
just out of sight.
They would know the locations
Squid
of
Game
all
in
the
here.
hidden passages and secret doors. The numbered door would mean nothing to someone like that. It would be a simple thing for them to enter the captain's quarters.
Then you're saying the killer was Alice?
It was Junpei's turn to raise an eyebrow. Ace drew his thumb across his lip thoughtfully.
Well, this is all only one possible theory.
All ice. Alice. Is she really somewhere on the ship?
The 11th member hidden somewhere on the ship. Junpei had
Watch
only
out
one
for her.
clue. The key card in his hand.
Maybe this card will give me access to the Forest of Knowledge. And the big mystery. What could be there beyond the Forest of Knowledge? Anyway, whatever. It's gonna have to wait. I can't do anything right now. I'll come back to this later.
He gripped the key card tighter and shoved it deep into his pocket.
What's the flow chart looking like?
Even if we didn't, so we don't have to worry about skipping because the only thing left to do is put in the number on the door, and I already have it prepared.
Oh, okay.
What's the number?
35, well, put the key in first.
Oh my god! There we go.
Okay, so go ahead and start it. So 35, 14, 27, 24. There you go.
We did it. Okay, let's get the fuck out of here and actually progress with ending.
Yes, and only 1 hour in.
Liberation.
Nyum.
Zoom.
Found myself a map.
A note.
A note?
Yeah, I found it in the pocket of the guy with the captain's clothes. It said something about the darkness of the sinister hand or something.
What the hell?
And
Let me
that's
see
how
it.
Clover found it.
No, not right.
But Junpei wasn't going to get to see it. From the other end of the hall, he heard Ace's voice.
Hey, Junpei, Clover! What are you two doing? Hurry up!
He's getting mad.
Clover shrugged.
I'll show it to you later, all right? Come on, we gotta hurry.
Before Junpei could protest, she was gone. Around the corner and off down the long stem of the L. A note? A note. Junpei was curious, but there was something else that bothered him.
From the look of that pocket, it doesn't particularly look like just a note. Jeez, what are you thinking? For crying out loud.
Junpei did his best to convince himself that it would make sense later and ran off after Clover. Junpei pushed through the door and found himself in a large room with a large set of stairs.
The big stairs. So this is where it ends up, just like it says on the map.
It was just what he'd expected to see after reading the map. His "I see" after reading the map himself meant that Ace had probably realized the same thing.
Ace, did he head down?
He put his hand on the handrail and leaned over to look down.
Oh, there he is.
Look, the 4 others are there too.
And not just Ace. Santa, June, Seven, and Lotus as well.
Really?
Let's join them.
Junpei and Clover glanced at each other and hurried down the stairs. They reached B deck at the same time.
Jumpy! Clover!
June's face was excited. Something had happened. That much Junpei could tell by simply looking at her.
What's up?
Given their situation, he was not inclined to be excited about sudden developments. June, however, couldn't contain herself.
We found it!
Found what?
We found it!
What did you find?
The last door! We found door 9!
What?
Come on! Just follow us. We'll explain on the way.
Okay.
7 turned and jogged off down the stairs.
Well, if that's the case...
Wait for me.
We should get going as well.
The rest followed.
Jumpy! We finally made it!
The relief and excitement in her voice echoed what each one of them felt.
Yeah, it's finally time.
Junpei wasn't quite ready to believe that they'd really done it, at least not just yet. Still, if everyone said that it was door 9, then it probably was.
We've reached the end.
He could feel his heart racing. A mixture of anticipation and fear ran through his veins, and he could feel his legs shaking. He was doing his best to maintain a sense of healthy skepticism, but he couldn't deny that the prospect of escape was an exciting one.
Something's bothering me. Only 3 to 5 people can go through the numbered door. 7 of us are on our way to door 9. That means that, best case scenario, there will be 2 of us who have to stay behind. 2 people. Is there a way?
I mean, we know there's 2 doors. Junpei
Yes.
doesn't know that yet. Junpei
He
looked
doesn't.
over at the clock.
4:30. We've only got 90 minutes left. I've got no time to wonder about it now.
Hey, Junpei! June! What the hell are you two doing? Hurry it up!
Santa's voice jolted Junpei out of his reverie.
Let's go, Jumpy!
June took off down the stairs, jogging as quickly as she could.
Yeah.
Junpei followed. We're going down there, where we certainly won't get wet.
Yep.
As a group, they piled onto the elevator and rode impatiently down the E-deck. It looked familiar. There was a metal grate between the 2 elevators. 7 grabbed hold of it and began to talk.
I know I told you I'd explain it earlier, but honestly, there ain't much to explain. After we split off from you guys, the 4 of us got into the elevator on the left, and that took us to the other side of the grate. After that, we headed down another hallway. It took us toward the bow and eventually to the number 6 that you 2 found earlier. We opened it and kept going. There was another locked door behind it, like usual, but this time we had to complete 2 different areas before we could unlock it. Once we were through that door, there was another hallway that went the other direction, toward the stern.
So, on your way, you found the elevator.
That's right.
So, in other words, you kinda did a lap, huh? You came from that side to this side.
Yeah.
With that settled, Junpei looked around.
So, where's the number 9 door?
Over here.
7 began walking down the hallway that led toward the stern. Junpei and the others broke into a jog to keep up with him.
By the way,
They had been walking for a while, chewing in silent step with Junpei when she spoke.
you know, it's because of Santa that we're all here right now.
Huh?
That all 7 of us are going to door 9.
What?
You don't get it? Santa, 7, and Lotus, what's their digital route?
9. It's 9.
That's right. They could have just left me behind and kept going if they'd wanted to.
But they didn't.
Yes, because Santa wouldn't let them. He said, we can't leave June and the others behind. That's why we went looking for you guys.
And then you got on the elevator and went back to the central staircase.
That's right.
Well, I wouldn't have called that one. That Santa would be the one to stick up for you.
Junpei felt his eyebrows knit as he considered that.
Oh, don't get me wrong.
Perhaps June had sensed Junpei's concern.
I don't mean that 7 and Lotus said they wanted to leave me behind. We were just talking about it, and Santa objected to it first.
Is that so?
Junpei was about to respond when 7 suddenly stopped.
We're here.
In front of them stood a door.
So, is this...
Yeah.
Junpei couldn't see 7's face, but he could see him nod.
There's no other place for us to go.
Nope. Just look around. There's a big old iron wall at the end of the hallway. The other hallways on the left and right are blocked by metal grates.
I see.
It looked as though 7 was right. The door in front of them was their only choice.
All right, let's get moving.
He pulled open the door and walked in. Junpei took a deep breath and followed. It appeared they'd been telling the truth.
No way.
The first thing Junpei saw as he entered the room was the number 9. Like all the others, it was a rough thing made of red paint. The door it decorated sat on the back wall of a rectangular room. I wonder if Junpei and June will get left behind. Junpei ran up to it.
The 9 door.
It was a large double door with powerful styling. Something about it was almost majestic, and it made the red paint look especially garish.
We're finally here.
Junpei grabbed the handle and shook. It didn't budge. Then, he hadn't really expected it to. The red was bolted to the wall next to the door. It displayed vacant.
No doubt about it. This is door 9. Oh, finally! This is the last.
Junpei felt a flood of emotion wash over him. He felt a chill down his back and his chest tightened even as his blood began to boil. There was a moment of complete silence.
Junpei, look behind you.
He turned
Behind?
around.
What?
Junpei could scarcely believe what he saw.
Why? A door and a 9. There's another one.
Hey, what the hell? What the hell is going on here?
His words came slowly, and his brain struggled to understand what he'd seen. On shaky legs, he made his way to the second 9. It was a small door, set parallel to the door they'd come through, but in the other corner of the room. There was no mistaking the number, and if any more proof was needed, a red was bolted to the wall near the door.
There's a red there too! That means... And of course it won't open.
He grabbed the handle and shook the door, not because he expected it to open, but because he had to make sure it was real.
Why? Why the hell are there 2 doors?
So that all of you can escape, dummy.
Yeah, it was Ace who spoke first.
Do you think perhaps one is the right door and the other is the wrong one?
Lotus was skeptical.
I don't know about that. It seems unlikely.
What makes you say so?
Well, think about all the rooms we've been through so far. They're full of puzzles. There are always hints about how to solve them. I'm pretty sure there aren't any rooms where we just had to go with our best guess and leave it to instinct to solve the puzzle. Do you really think that at the very end of the game, Zero's going to suddenly throw in something that depends entirely on luck?
Then you're saying there's some sort of hint in this room?
No, I don't think there's a hint anywhere in here. I searched it very well when I was in here before. I didn't find anything that might have been a hint, though.
Well then, that means...
Yeah, both of these are the right door. I mean, if you think about it, Zero never actually said there was only one door with a 9 on it.
It is hidden, but an exit can be found. Seek a way out. Seek a door that carries a 9.
Junpei began to mutter to himself.
So if there are 2 number 9 doors, if we split it up right?
That's not gonna work.
Junpei blinked and looked up at Clover. She held out her hand.
You've got a notebook and a pen, right? Can I borrow them?
Yeah, here.
Slightly confused, he pulled them out and handed them to her.
Look at this.
Clover opened the notebook to a blank page and set it down on the desk. Everyone else gathered around her and watched as she wrote down a series of numbers.
You get it? The numbers on the top are all the combinations with digital roots of 9. The numbers on the bottom are the people who don't fit. There's only 8 possibilities if we split up into 2 groups of 3 or 4 people. So...
If 3 people go through the door, then 4 are left behind. If 4 go through, then 3 are left behind. Right?
Yeah.
Clover nodded, almost as if she were pleased with herself for solving a difficult math problem.
No way.
I mean, once you realize it's basically counting in base 9, it's not that difficult anymore.
Also, if we had Snake with us, we'd be able to all get through.
True. Yeah. And we do have him with us. Sort of.
He's kind of unconscious, but he is with us right now.
He is literally in the room right now. The room went very quiet. Silence lay across everyone like a thick, heavy blanket. No one spoke. Their faces were blank.
Come to think of it,
Desperate for something else to look at, Junpei turned his eyes to the room around him.
What is this room?
The walls were covered with candles. The wavering flame made the shadows of Junpei and his companions look as though they were dancing. Two rows of wooden pews filled most of the room.
It looks like it's set up for some kind of ceremony, but what kind?
Between them was a strip of rich red carpet. I know exactly what kind of ceremony. A resurrection ceremony! Snake, stand up and take a bow!
Okay, that's better than what I was going for, which was a funeral ceremony.
No, quite the opposite. The carpet ran straight through the room, ending at the door that pointed to the stern of the boat. At the
Guys,
other
it's not a
end of the
carpet, remember? It's a jarpet.
Is that an
True.
altar?
The resurrection of the Golden Witch!
It was a recessed space set into the wall between the two other doors. Sitting on a raised section of the altar was a coffin.
A coffin? No, it couldn't possibly be.
But if it wasn't, then whose body occupied it? That was as far as Junpei wanted to pursue that line of thought. He decided not to think about the coffin for the time being. At that moment, Seven spoke. There was an edge of humor to his voice, but it was forced.
Okay, I give up. I figured if we sat around here long enough, someone would volunteer. But I guess nobody's got the guts to do it.
What are you talking about?
Junpei didn't understand, and he wasn't the only one.
What? You guys didn't figure it out yet? Fine. Let me enlighten you. Clover was mostly right with her little explanation earlier, but she missed something. She wasn't really wrong. She just... screw it. Let me just write it out.
Seven snatched up the notebook and began to write in it. Everyone else clustered around him, desperate for a look.
If you're trying to leave with a group of 3 and a group of 4 and get everybody out, Clover's right. But there's another way. Only one combination, though. If you split us up into groups of 3, 3, and 1, you can make this combination.
Wait, this means...
Don't get me wrong here. I'm not trying to copy Ace or anything like that. Even if he hadn't been the hero back in the big hospital room, I'd still be saying the same thing.
The same thing? Are you saying?
Yeah, I am. I'll stay behind.
Why are you acting so heroic all of a sudden? Are you some kind of idiot?
Lotus was the first to speak. That, in itself, was a little strange. She'd reacted much differently when Ace had volunteered.
No, I'm completely against this. I'll be goddamned if I'm gonna have to owe you for getting out of here.
Even when you're trying to save his life, you're being a dick to Seven.
Yeah.
The rest of them began to speak all at once.
I'm against it too. I didn't want to leave Ace behind, and I don't want to leave you either. I don't like that idea. There's gotta be other options.
I disagree as well. I can't say I care much for you being the hero.
Finally, they quieted down. Junpei looked at Seven.
Well, there you go, Seven. Proposal denied. Clover's right. There's gotta be a better way than this.
Seven made some noise that was somewhere between a derisive snort and a cough.
Seven once
Doesn't
again
make any
proving that
sense.
he is the best boy.
Yeah. He was doing his best to pretend they were making a foolish decision, but Junpei could see the twinkling of water at the corner of Seven's eyes. That was when Santa spoke.
Whoa, hold on a minute. I haven't said anything yet.
Until then, Junpei hadn't realized that Santa had stayed quiet for the whole discussion of Seven's fate. Something in his voice made Junpei uncomfortable.
Are you... agreeing? You want to leave him here?
Santa shook his head.
Nah, I'm against it. I don't want to leave Seven here alone.
Then I don't see how it matters.
I said alone.
Huh?
I said I don't want to leave Seven alone.
There was a dull shine in Santa's eyes. They were cold and hard. Junpei felt himself shiver.
What the hell are you...
What? You don't get it? I can't leave just one person. I need 2 more. 3 people, including Seven. I'll be leaving behind 3 people. That's my proposal. No, those are my orders.
What do you mean, orders? What the hell makes you think you can order us around? Who the hell's gonna listen to you?
You all will. In 3 seconds, you won't have a choice.
What?
What?
3, 2, 1.
Santa was so fast, Junpei could barely see him. When he moved, it was almost like watching a dance, his feet moving like lightning. He spun and... he had June.
Safe?
What?
Surprise!
His lips curled into a cruel, mocking smile.
Huh? What?
A shudder traveled the length of Junpei's spine. His chest froze and he could feel his breath go stale in his lungs. Nothing made sense. Junpei felt as though his head were about to explode. Santa's sudden change in attitude, saying that he needed 2 more, the gun in his right hand, a revolver. Santa had grabbed June from behind and pressed what Junpei's shaking brain identified as a revolver roughly against her temple.
Why? What the hell is that?
Where on earth had Santa possibly found a gun? Junpei's questions roared in his mind, but his mouth refused to ask them. Seven spoke, almost as though he had sensed Junpei's confusion.
The gun's from the other room.
What room?
One of the rooms behind door 6. I should have known he was gonna do this. I should have taken the gun.
Well, it's too late now, fat ass.
Damn it!
Okay, so is Ace the bad guy, the murderer, or is Santa the murderer? Or does it matter?
Good question. Oh, now that we're at this point, I've been waiting to point something out here.
Uh-huh.
So, throughout this entire adventure, I've been noticing things about Ushikoshi's writing about this story that I didn't notice the first time that are fucking brilliant. So, route for the safe ending. 5886. Route for the true ending. Ping 471. And if you put both of those sequences together in digital route, I have one question to ask: who's got the gun?
Okay.
Answer.
But
If it's a safe ending, the digital route of that path is 1, and if it's true, it's 3.
son of a bitch. Xehanort!
Anyway, a mixture of fury and frustration twisted Seven's face, and he glared at Santa. Santa, for his part, didn't so much as flinch. The corner of his lips twitched into a slightly wider smile. Then
I'll be
the
right
smile
back.
faded
I'm
and
getting
he
this
began
water
to
after
move.
this bullshit.
He walked backward, dragging June with him. Before long, his back was resting against the door. On the wall next to him was the red. He put his hand on the scanner panel quickly, and then forced June to do the same.
Now, time for you to start following my orders. Ace, Lotus, congratulations! I've chosen you to come with me. Put your hands in the red.
That was what Santa had meant when he said he needed 2 more.
Hey, you deaf? I gave you an order.
Santa's eyes narrowed to slits. He glared at Ace and Lotus. They stayed, frozen, like deer caught in the headlights of an oncoming car.
Right. Fine. I didn't want to waste any bullets, but you guys just don't get it.
No sooner were the words out of Santa's mouth than his hand twitched. The gun roared. A section of the floor exploded, scattering wooden splinters across the floor. And Snake is just sleeping through this. A thin plume of smoke snaked out of the hole in the floor. There could be no doubt that the gun was real and worked.
He really shot it? But why? Santa, why are you...
Clover's voice spoke of betrayal and disbelief.
Santa, I thought you were one of us. I thought we were friends.
What?
You knew about the leaf words and the 4-leaf clover.
Santa's cheek twitched, almost imperceptibly.
What the hell is that shit? I've got no idea.
You're lying.
Shut up. Just shut up, you stupid bitch. You want me to put a bullet in your fucking head?
Flecks of spit flew from Santa's mouth, his face twisted with rage. Clover recoiled, her eyes wide. When she spoke, her voice was very... Oh! I think I just realized something. I think I know why Santa is doing this.
Why?
He's refusing to leave Seven alone. and in the process offering Seven a way out if they can find a solution that works. Because he, didn't they say that Santa was on the boat in the previous experiment 9 years ago? Does Santa recall that Seven saved them?
Santa.
That could be a possibility. We're just gonna have to wait and find out.
He snorted, then shook his head vigorously and turned to face Ace and Lotus.
All right, assholes. What are you still standing there for? Get over here and scan those bracelets. I don't have all day. Oh, what's the matter? Your hearing's starting to go? Going senile, maybe?
No, we're fucking deaf because it doesn't have a silencer and you fired it in a closed room. Ace and Lotus still didn't move. It almost seemed as if they couldn't move. June's face was pale behind Santa's arm. Her eyes were wild and her chest heaved with every quick breath like an animal cornered by a predator. Junpei's mind worked furiously. What were they going to do? Then he realized something. There was nothing they needed to do. There was nothing to debate.
That's it.
June's safety was the first priority. That much was obvious. Doing as Santa had commanded meant that she would be safe from at least 2 threats. She wouldn't be shot, and she would leave the ship alive, along with Santa, Ace, and Lotus. There was only one thing for Junpei to do.
It's the only way.
He turned to Ace and Lotus.
Please, go.
I mean, it's not the only way. You could also take Clover with you and go with Santa.
Huh?
No way.
Jumpy, what are you saying? If you stay here, you're going to be stuck, Jumpy. And so will Clover and Seven.
I know, but you don't need to worry about us. We'll figure something out. Right, Seven?
Right. You just leave it to us. It's gonna piss me off to do what Santa says, but...
Don't worry about me either. There's still something I have to take care of.
No, no! You can't! Ace, Lotus, don't come over! Don't worry about me! Please!
June was almost crying. Junpei walked around behind Ace and Lotus. He gently placed a hand on each of their shoulders.
Please.
And pushed them toward the door. They almost stumbled, then righted themselves and took another step. And another. He turned around and Junpei nodded.
Oh, all right.
Fine.
Ace and Lotus turned around again and walked slowly toward the door where Santa was waiting for them. After what seemed like an eternity, they stopped in front of the door marked 9. Santa smiled.
All right, now let's get those hands on the scanner panel. What's the holdup? What? You think I'm fucking around here? I don't give a shit about this girl. The red doesn't need a person, you know? All I need is the bracelet. You get it? Good. Now put your fucking hands on the scanner. I'm not gonna say it again.
He shoved the revolver harder against June's head and she winced.
Fine.
He sighed, defeated, and placed his hand on the scanner panel.
Sean Chiplock is killing this scene.
Yeah. Lotus was next. Lotus glared at Santa and slapped her hand onto the scanner panel. The 4th asterisk blinked on.
Good job. Now, Lotus, pull that lever. As soon as the door opens, you get your ass in there. Try anything stupid, and you know what happens, right?
Damn it.
Junpei could almost hear Lotus's teeth grind. The door slid open. Door number 9 opened at last. It opened with a low, powerful rumble, a drum roll to welcome the chosen few.
Good. Go.
Lotus and Ace walked through the door, their eyes furious but defeated. Santa waited until they were all the way inside, and hauled himself and June across the threshold as well.
You know, the shitty
6,
thing about all this
7,
is...
Later.
The shitty thing about all this is that if they had just gone along with Seven's plan to begin with...
Santa and Snake would be stuck. Or Snake and Seven would be stuck.
No. Snake and Seven would be stuck, but they could go and grab the 9 bracelet and escape that way.
Oh, that's true.
That is true. Presuming Ace didn't take it already.
True.
But he did. We know this.
I mean, he could theoretically be a bro and toss it through the door for them, but I mean,
no.
Nope.
Anyway. After exactly 9 seconds, the door swung shut. The gust of air it created caused the candles on the altar to flicker and die. The room fell silent. Junpei, Clover, and Seven had been left behind. Time to read that note! Clover looked down at her hand and traced with her finger the faint blue veins that crisscrossed them. Seven shoved his arms to the front of his overalls and scratched his stomach. No one spoke. Silence made the air feel thick and oppressive. Desperate for something, anything to occupy his mind, Junpei walked to the larger of the 2 9 doors. He stood in front of it and looked at the red.
I just fucking hate how this thing is just one big prisoner's dilemma, where if everyone actually cooperated, everyone could just get out perfectly fine. But because people are dicks and prioritize themselves over everyone else, you know, everyone gets fucked.
I mean, that's human nature in a nutshell.
Yeah.
Well, fuck human nature. Fuck humans. I'm a bunny.
I thought that's what you wanted from this series.
What?
He stood in front of it and looked at the red. It read, engaged. He moved to the smaller door. The red read, vacant. Digital route of the remaining people was 7. There was no possible way for them to open a door with 9 on it. Junpei touched the surface of the door.
June.
He thought about June, about Akane Kurashiki. Was she safe? He could have. I suppose we'll get the answer for why Santa did what he did later.
Yeah.
That was all that mattered to him. If she was alive, maybe she had escaped this horrible boat.
Maybe he did it for the evils.
We'll find out later.
Given what we've seen of Santa so far, I actually doubt that.
Yeah,
that was what Junpei prayed for. 7 came up next to him. He pulled off his hat, scratched his head, and sighed.
So, what do you want to do, Junpei?
What do you mean, what do I want to do? What can we do?
Well, we have a coffin to check out. We have a library to check out. We have a lot of options, actually. 7 opened his mouth to respond when...
Finally, there we go.
A noise echoed through the room. Someone was pounding on something vigorously. It wasn't mechanical. It was certainly human.
Hello, Snake.
Junpei and 7 looked at one another.
What the hell is that?
Guess those gunshots finally woke him up.
Clover motioned to 7 to be quiet. She put one finger to her lips and closed her eyes in concentration. The 3 of them listened, trying to determine where the sound was coming from.
Where is it coming from?
Could it be? Hey, I think it's coming from this coffin.
You're right.
That's coming through.
Let's open it.
The clippers.
But how?
What are those muscles for? For show?
You're telling me to force it open?
Just shut up and try!
Junpei and 7 grabbed hold of the coffin. They tried to get a good grip with what little purchase they could find and pulled with all their strength.
Damn it!
Man, it won't even budge.
There was some sort of keypad attached to the coffin. Its purpose would not have been difficult to determine. Their eyes were almost immediately drawn to it.
Not another one?
Yeah, looks like it.
Do you think we have to put in the right password or it won't open?
I think so.
The noise wasn't stopping. In fact, it was getting louder.
Whoever or whatever's inside this thing wants out. And now.
I know that. But how?
Without a
before it's
passcode,
Alice in there
I
or
don't
not
think there's much
Snake.
we can do.
They couldn't even tell how many numbers the passcode needed to be.
Isn't there a hint somewhere?
Well, let's look for one.
Clover, your note! Unfortunately, there didn't seem to be anything near the coffin. Clover ran to examine the pews, and Seven investigated the desk, but they turned up nothing.
There's nothing here.
Not making this easy, are they?
The sound still wouldn't stop. It wasn't a noise that belonged in that room.
God, I'll go get the door in a moment. I'm playing a game.
I know, right?
What am I supposed to do? How can we figure it out? I need something.
Like, honestly, this banging is like, what's the right term?
All right. Can I just say something here?
Yeah.
Sure.
Well, me and Suki have something to say. If you got to this point without getting the safe ending, you would not see the screen. Okay. You would just end up, the screen would black out, and you would have to start all over again.
Yeah.
But
this
since you've
would
gotten...
be where you would get the coffin ending, as it is referred to.
Yes. But since we have all the information, we can continue.
Okay. And yeah, it's like bringing back long memories of childhood.
Yeah, like, remember your second run when you almost went down door 1 a second time?
Yeah.
We tried to make sure this didn't happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know.
My second...
Suddenly, there was a voice inside of Junpei's head. Truth had gone, truth had gone, truth and truth had gone. Ah, now truth is asleep in the darkness of the sinister hand.
Wait, what? What the hell was that? That voice?
Junpei was utterly and completely baffled.
Huh? What?
What's up?
Seven and Clover ran over to him, but Junpei didn't know what to tell them.
Huh?
If he told them he'd heard a voice, they'd laugh. Or worse, think he was going insane. So all he said was...
Oh, nothing.
Cleared his throat a little too loud and looked pointedly down at his bracelet. There were a pair of small buttons protruding from either side of it. Press the buttons.
Left, right, left, right, left, right.
No, it's right, left, right, left.
Fuck.
It's gone.
Yeah.
My bad.
That was it.
1 4 3 8 3 4 2 1.
Eight numbers blinked on and then off on the bracelet display. Junpei checked one last time.
One, 4, 3, 8, 3, 4, 2, 1.
Huh?
Huh?
Hey, what the hell were those numbers?
Oh my gosh, are those...
Junpei didn't answer. He simply walked straight to the coffin. He knelt down in front of the keypad, running over the numbers in his head so he wouldn't forget.
1, 4, 3, 8, 3, 4, 2, 1. 1, 4, 3, 8, 3, 4, 2, 1.
With trembling fingers, he punched them in. 1, 4, 3, 8, 3, 4, 2, 1. That was all of them. He punched the E button. There was a moment of complete silence.
I'm sure you're glad you never had to put in that.
I'm sure if I repeated it to myself enough, I would remember it. Also, now I'm wondering if there's a spot where I could punch it in Zero Escape 2. Then there was the sound of the coffin lid unlatching. Someone sat up out of it.
No way!
What?
Why are you...
Oh?
And now,
Is
ladies
that
and
you,
gentlemen,
Clover? I apologize for worrying you.
the sweetest scene in this game.
Snake!
You? Why?
Junpei? And Seven? Is that you? Is everyone else there as well?
Motherfucker is so chill.
Just like Rip Van Winkle. Still, it was very much like Snake to simply cut to the heart of the matter and ask.
Jeez.
Junpei and Seven shared a wry smile. Are we never going to use that card key?
Well, you're gonna have to wait.
Well, I mean, we can leave right now. Clover's eyes were filled with tears.
You're back!
With a cry of joy, she leapt into Snake's arms.
Gently now. My body's still a little weak.
Oh, you're back!
Clover looked like nothing so much as a lost child who had finally found her home. She cried and cried and cried. Her eyes were red, her nose was running. She hiccuped and gasped as if she were about to begin hyperventilating.
You're back! You're really here!
Her voice was happy, but almost desperate, as if she feared he would disappear again if she stopped talking to him. Tear after tremendous tear rolled its way down her face. Her small arms strained as she clutched Snake's body as tightly as she could. Perhaps she had to convince herself he was real. Perhaps she was worried he would be gone the moment she let go. Perhaps she didn't... Perhaps she simply didn't know what else to do.
You're back!
Come now, what's gotten into you? You're acting as though I've returned from the grave.
Not as though! You did! I really thought you were dead!
Huh?
You jerk! Idiot! Idiot! Idiot!
Why do I have the sneaking suspicion that the Japanese voice line is just baka baka baka?
I never heard it.
Clover broke into sobs so great she could no longer talk. It was a touching reunion between brother and sister. Even though Junpei knew they had little time and every minute they waited was a minute they wasted, it felt cruel to pull them apart. Junpei and Seven sat down on one of the pews, waiting for Clover to calm down before explaining to Snake what had transpired.
I see. I believe I understand things rather well now, thank you. In the shower room, there is a dead body wearing my clothes. Because of that, you thought that I was dead, correct?
He had quickly and neatly summarized the events of several hours.
Yeah.
Junpei nodded.
You also discovered a corpse in the captain's quarters, and Santa turned on you here, in this room. Do I have it straight?
Well, the dead body in the captain's quarters is a surprise.
Sorry, there wasn't a good time to tell you.
Don't worry about it.
Well then. I've got a pretty decent idea of what happened while I was indisposed, but it's still something of a mystery who did all this, and why. The corpse in the shower room that looked like me. And the corpse in the captain's quarters. Why were they killed in the way they were?
You don't know?
No. Why would I?
The guy in the shower room. We don't know who he is, so let's just call him Mr. X. Anyway, this Mr. X is wearing Snake's clothes. But you're wearing some kind of weird robes. That means someone took your clothes and put them on Mr. X. We need to figure out who that was.
I apologize, but I have no idea who might have done this to me. I only just now woke up. I was unconscious during all the events you just described to me. They must have undressed me and changed my clothes during that time.
When were you knocked out?
When we split up to look for the red.
Where did they get you? Do you remember?
It was a small room in one of the hallways on C deck.
What happened?
The same thing that happened to every one of us when we were abducted. A canister releasing some sort of gas was thrown into the room. I believe the gas is some sort of incapacitating agent.
Then that means it was...
Zero.
Looks that way, huh?
There's nothing else I have to tell you. When I woke up, I was in this coffin.
Junpei crossed his arms and thought.
Why? Why did Zero make Mr. X wear Snake's clothes? How would that benefit Zero? I don't get it. What the hell does any of it mean? And I have no idea how I got the passcode for the coffin either. Truth had gone, and truth had gone. Where did those words come from? Why did I feel compelled to push the buttons on the bracelet after hearing them?
Seven had asked him about it while they waited for Clover to finish crying. He'd had no answer for him then, and he still didn't.
All I know is my fingers moved on their own. It was like I did it subconsciously. I don't get it. What the hell does any of it mean?
His mind was a maelstrom of mysteries, clues, theories, and more mysteries. He could barely think.
Also, oh my god, it's
Snake and Clover
morphogenic
have been subject to a
fields!
similar experiment 9 years ago.
The ability to access a morphogenetic field is affected by a couple of things. The first is epiphany, and the other is danger. And someone did actually die. A girl. Her name was...
There had been another experiment conducted on this same ship 9 years ago. and a girl had died during it. Morphogenetic field theory. The 2 murders. Switching clothes. The nonary game.
And whatever strange thing was happening to Junpei himself. The maelstrom in his head spat out words and ideas that disappeared back into it almost as soon as he grasped them. But as he struggled through them, Junpei began to realize something. There was something that tied all of them together, and the point connecting the dots.
Zero. He's the ringleader. The person who trapped 9 of us on this sinking ship. Zero should know everything. If we can uncover Zero's identity, all of our questions will be answered.
Who was Zero? Junpei had the beginnings of a theory. If he could only test it, or perhaps...
At any rate, we'll have plenty of time to decipher the details later. For now, it is of utmost importance that we escape. Junpei, it was 4:30 the last time you checked the clock, yes? That means we have less than an hour. We must hurry.
Hey, how are we gonna get out of here?
Isn't that obvious? Through the other number 9 door.
Because we have everybody we need!
Right. With Snake, we can open the door.
Don't tell me you hadn't figured that out.
As they sniped back and forth, Junpei glanced at Snake's left hand. He was wearing a bracelet with a 2 on it.
Come on, you gotta tell me these things.
I, assumed you'd figured it out.
Forget it. Let's just get going.
7 stomped off toward the smaller number 9 door. Clover, Snake, and Junpei followed. 7 quickly laid his hand on the red. An asterisk appeared on the screen. Junpei and the others followed suit and laid their hands on the scanner panel. Soon, there were 4 asterisks on the screen. 7 glanced at them, and then laid his hand on the lever of the red.
All right. You guys ready to go?
Yes.
Yep.
Junpei paused for a moment.
Not yet.
Huh?
Before we go in, I'd like to check something.
You want to check something?
Yeah, but before I do, 7, could you pull the lever? I want to make sure we can verify with just the 4 of us.
What do you mean? We don't need...
Just do it, alright? But if the door opens, don't go in yet, okay? Please, this is really important. I really need to check this, okay? Work with me here.
Junpei looked directly into 7's eyes. The older man looked back for a moment, then nodded.
Fine.
7 pulled down on the lever, and door 9 creaked open. Then they waited. 6, 7, 8. After 9 seconds, the door closed.
All right. That means the 4 of us can go into door...
So? We knew that already. It's obvious.
Obvious. Yeah. You're right. It is. Now, what happens if we add Zero's bracelet?
What?
Zero's bracelet?
Why don't you take it out, Clover?
For a moment, Clover looked surprised, but she recovered quickly and stuck her tongue out at Junpei.
So you did know I had it. I picked it up because I thought it might be useful sometime.
Otherwise, she would have picked up the axe and whacked us in the head.
And produced a bracelet. Junpei took it from her and turned to 7.
This was on the left hand of the corpse in the captain's quarters. If you look at it, you can see it's got a 0 on the face. Just to make this a little easier to talk about, I'm gonna call the guy we found dead in the captain's quarters, Cap. Then I should be able to open door 9 with just me, Clover, and his bracelet. But the big question is, if Cap is the mastermind of this game, would he really put one of these bracelets on? Anyway, let's just give it a shot. Clover, give me your hand.
Okay.
Now the captain's bracelet. And pull the lever.
However...
Pull the lever.
Yep.
The door didn't open. The red's display read error.
I knew it. Now, what does this tell us?
Maybe the bracelet has to be on your wrist in order for it to work?
No, that's impossible. Did you see how the panel showed a 3rd asterisk when I scanned Cap's bracelet?